Welcome to the part 2 video of the Chapter 3 Android textbook exercise where we're doing an emulation application where we are allowing people to type in the number of tickets and the specific concert they wish to attend, and the app will calculate the cost of the concert tickets. If you haven't looked at part 1 where we began this exercise, you want to look at that video first. I'm starting on the bottom of page 87 in your textbook. At this point in the program, we have put in the text field where we have the title of the app called Ticket Vault. We have a text field where the person will type in the number of tickets that he or she desires to purchase. From a drop-down menu list where right now it says Item 1, we have 3 concerts by groups called Dragonfly, 9 Volt, and Red Road. And once we get the concert and the number of tickets that the user wants to purchase, we'll now add, starting in this video, a button that will allow us to calculate the cost of those tickets. So for example, if a person typed in 2 tickets to the Dragonfly concert, and let's say they cost $30 a piece, the program would automatically multiply 2 tickets times $30 a piece for a total of $60 and display that result. We're now at the bottom of page 87 where we put in the button that does the calculation. Now what we need to do at this point is to put not only a place where you can view the result that says the cost of the tickets is so many dollars, we also want, just for some creativity in this app, not just have a bunch of words, we'll have a nice background image as well for this. And we have one in the program called concert.png, PNG indicating a fireworks kind of file, very useful in web design. They're very friendly when you're putting them in applications on smartphones and on websites. And we'll do this with the steps that are over on page 88 in the book. So with activity main, pardon me, already active as we have right here, we're going to drag the button control in here. So we'll go over to form widgets, which I already have. Button is the very top one over on the right where it says large, medium, then the word button. We'll drag a copy of button over here and put it in the center right below item 1. Put it as high or as low as you like. And it may be hard to see on the video, but it has the word button right there. Again, step 1, page 88. We're going to move over to the properties. And the ID, instead of saying the default @ plus ID / button 1, we're going to make it say button cost. So it will be, after the / it will be BTN capital COST. Again, the period is just for the sentence, not for our typing purposes. For the text property, instead of it saying button, we'll go down here to the text property. When in doubt, pick the one that's got the bolder letters, the bold word text. And if it jumps around as mine does, sometimes it will give you submenu. Just keep plowing in there. You may have to click the word text instead of the word button right there. Replace the word button right there. Beside the word text, put find, capital FIND, ticket, capital TICKET, cost, COST. Again, step 1, page 88. The text size, if you scroll down here, and again, sometimes mine jumps. I'm not real good with the hands-on oftentimes myself, and you have to watch it because it will bounce around as it does with me. So if it does that, click on the word text size instead of the one on the right, and then click the right side and it will work. Type in 25 SP, no spaces there, for the size, and there's the button right there, find ticket cost. Now in step 2, we're going to actually code the button, so we need to open up the main program from the Package Explorer. Now don't get main and activity main mixed up, and if you don't have this, you can either click on main over here, or if you prefer, you can go over here to the Package Explorer and choose main right there. Either way, you'll get the same button. We typed in 2 sentences prior to this. One said final edit text and one said final spinner. We're now going to go to the end of the final spinner sentence. Click right there, hit the enter key, and we'll put in the text for the button right here. So to code the button, we're going to type the word button with a capital, BUTTON, and we're going to name the button by the word cost. Again, don't let the X bother you. Equals, In parentheses, the word button with a capital letter, close parenthesis. Find, capital view, capital BY, capital ID, parenthesis, r.id.btn, capital COST. At the end of the parenthesis, put a semicolon. This is in bold letters in step 2, bottom of page 88. We're going to point to the word button, which has the little squiggly line under it. And, sorry, I shouldn't have right-clicked. Just move over there and just hover over it. Choose the import option, the first one, and that's called a quick fix, and that will it will associate the image button that we did on the diagram with the actual code. We'll tie those together. Alright, now at the end of this sentence, buttons take a little more programming, so at the end of this sentence hit the enter key, and we're going to type the sentence that's over on page 89. I think that's line 21. I've got very poor lighting here. You can look at step 2 on page 88 to look at it in bold. Cost dot set on, and you may have the little IntelliSense list come up right here, and you're going to double click the first one that says set on click listener. Double click it so it will display. You can type it if you want to. Inside the parentheses, type the word new, space that, the word on, and to get your choices now, hold down Control and the space bar and choose the listing that says on click listener with an anonymous inner type event handler, probably the very first choice. Double click that. There will be another set of parentheses that will come up. And you won't have to worry about anything inside of there for now. So you'll have cost.set on click listener parenthesis new on click listener parenthesis parenthesis. Don't worry about what this means now. We'll talk about that when we deal with classes in one of the small exercises later on in the semester. Again, move over move over to the on click listener with the red squiggly lines. Choose this time the one that says import on click listener. And you may have to scroll down to find it. You have to look for it. And let me make sure this is right. I'm going to keep talking so you won't think that the video has paused on me. And I want to make sure this is exactly correct. I'm not going to actually pause the video because many of you have complained that when I pause the video, all of a sudden it comes back on with very soft-spoken verbiage on my part, and I want to make sure the volume control is still there. It should say cost.set on click listener parenthesis new on click listener, 2 sets of parentheses right there. And I want to import the one. I'm going to go back with this again and see if I can get this to import for me. And I'm not seeing what happened here. Sometimes you'll have some weird stuff happen when you get into these complex items right here, and I'm not seeing this at the moment. Let me make sure that I've done this correctly. Button cost equals button in parentheses, find view by ID r.id button cost cost.sk, and sometimes you can do a quick fix. If this happens to you, just move over to this X, and sometimes you can go in and you can do something called a quick fix, and it will take care of this for you. So I'm going to choose create field right there. I'm going to see what happens, and sometimes that will work. I'll go back to main again, and again, a lot of times this can just be fixed by just doing quick fix and just accepting this stuff right here. I don't like about this set key listener. I don't know what's going on right here. I'm not sure I like this, but I'm going to try it just to see what will happen. I don't like this. This did not occur for me previously, so I'm not sure I necessarily like this. I'm going to give it a shot though. So if it works for you, if yours works, congratulations. If it doesn't, you go from there. I've not had this problem with the Java. And again, if worse comes to worse, when you have the first time I ran this, I was very successful. If this doesn't work for you this time, don't worry about it. Do your best. We'll get through the course, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm getting through the video for right now. But it should say set on click listener. But if yours gets something like this where you can't fix it, do the best you can with it. Send me the code, and we'll go from there. Let's just see what happens. All right. Now, you want to place a semicolon at the end of the double. You've got a brace and you've got a parenthesis right here. And at the very end of that, I don't know if you can see it or not, you want to put a semicolon right there to resolve it. Okay? And notice that it set it back to on-click listener. Sometimes it does some weird things like that, and it'll work out for you. We'll just see what happens. Move forward. All right, step 3 on page 89. To add a text view control to display the final cost, what I want to do is click Activity Main. I'm going back to my visual. I'm going to go to the Form Widgets category. I'm going to drag a text view to go below the Find Ticket Cost button. Now, some of this stuff overlaps with you in the course of events. Don't worry about it. I just want you to do the best you can with it. And be sure you have this text view selected and have the properties up there. And in the Properties panel, we want to change the ID at the very top of the list. So instead of showing ID / text view, you want to show ID / and again on page 89, step number 3, you want to type in TXT capital results. And for the text size property, you want it to be 20 SP. Just click on text size, make that 20 SP without a space there. And what will happen at this point, it's still going to say text view. That's okay, because what will happen is this will be replaced with the results of our calculation earlier. And you can erase the word text view right here. If you click right here on text view, click to the right of it, you can actually delete. And I double click, which I shouldn't have done. I got the code instead. So go back to Activity Main. Let me pull that. I'm sorry. If you ever have this happen to you, just click on Graphical Layout at the bottom of the screen, and it will take this and allow you to display this once again. And sometimes I'll get my fields all out of order. If this ever happens to you, there typically is some kind of reset that will allow you to show everything. Like if you're wanting to show I'm really messing up this video, aren't I? That's okay. Package Explorer, you'll know that I'm human this way. If I want to show the templates, if I want to show the emulator, I can reset. I can do reset perspective. I think I can do that. No, wait a minute. I don't want to do that. Let me see what I can do. Just bear with me. I've screwed this up, and sometimes this does happen. Let me see what I can do here. There's Package Explorer, and apparently I did something really crazy right here when I displayed this screen. Let's see what boy, I've done a lot of screwing up in this video, haven't I? But I'm not re-recording it because, as I've said many times before, these things happen. There we go. When I click this puppy right here, up in the corner, I got it back. Yay. Alright. So here we go. Let's try this again. Thank you for understanding my being human right here. It happens. Alright. Now, in fact, that's a little bit larger now. Okay. Now, if I want to erase the word text view right here, I can click to the right of the text property, and let me just show you where that is. If this happens, boy, I'm making a grand scheme of things today, aren't I? I'm going to go to Show in Properties. Here we go. And I'm going to go up here to where it's got the text showing, because the text displaying right now is the word text view. I'm going to click on the word text view and show these properties once again. I apologize for this, folks. And where it says text view right here, I'm just going to delete the word. Doesn't hurt anything, and just hit enter, and the text is still there. The text view box is there, it's just that nothing is displayed right there right now, and that's perfectly okay. It's not a problem. Alright, so to code the text view control, basically that text view that it looks like I deleted the entry. I actually just deleted the box itself, not the box itself, but just the contents of it. Just no longer displays anything in the box. And you can still go in and select it, at least I hope so. If not, then I'll just drag another one in there. Let me make sure that I still have it, because it may not show up. It should be there, and it's not. So let's try this again. Just in case I've got one too many, I'll go over here and drag it in again. Play with this some more. There's text view. I'll show the properties. See, it happens to your instructor as well. Yeah, there's one there. There's one called text view 1 that was there a minute ago. So I can just delete that one. It's okay. I think we're fine. I hope I haven't confused you here. If I have, I'll just redo this particular video. Alright. Now I'm going to close main, or I can go ahead and just save it. I can do save all. I'm on step 4 on page 90, so I'm saving everything right now. I'm going to go to main, where the code is, after all of the button information. And after all that code referring to the button, I'm going to go below that, after all that code, after that semicolon that we did a few minutes ago. Hopefully you're seeing this. And I'm going to type in the text in step 4 that says final text view. Be sure the capital letters are there. I'm going to name this variable result. And the result is, and watch the typing right here. You got a double set of parentheses. Parenthesis, text view. Step over that first closing parenthesis and type find view by ID, parenthesis r.id.txt result. Remember, we named this text result a minute ago. Go past these and then hit a semicolon. Now I want to make sure this is clear here. You've got a total of 6 parentheses. And I hope I don't mess this up again now in typing. You've got a set of parentheses around the word text view, a set of parentheses around, RID result, and you got a parenthesis around the whole works, one after the equal, one preceding the semicolon. So you've got 3 pairs, or a total of 6 parentheses altogether. And the usual squiggly line number, go over here over text view and import the text view widget. So you're associating the code right here with the various widgets, these little parts that are in the actual Android screen. Now we need to get the image here for this particular display, and the name of that image is called, I think I said it earlier, it's called Concert. Now I've got yours on Blackboard where you can import it, but what I'm going to do, I happen to have it in a different location. You will not have it in the same location as I do. I've got some special libraries on my particular computer where I've got it, but it's basically just a copy and paste situation, and I believe it's inside, well, I know where it's supposed to go. It will go in the drawable HDPI folder. I'll show you where that is in a minute. Anyway, I'm going to get mine out. It's called Concert. I'm just going to do a copy and paste, and you can do the same thing from Blackboard. But basically, once I've copied this Concert thing, I'll go inside the drawable high density pixel image, and I'll paste my concert image in there. Okay, so now it's in the right place. You can drag it in if you want to. Now to bring it inside, I'm going to go into the form widgets, and I'm going to find, well, I'll go to image and media actually, that folder, and I'll get the very first option, the little tiny one on the left, upper left, which says image view. Drag it in there so it's centered, and I'm going to choose concert from the list. Click OK, and it will bring the image inside. And the image selected. Now my property panels are not showing up because of my little screw up a minute ago, but if I go to show in properties, you're probably already there. But I'll go up there to the layout margin property. So there's my layout parameters right there. And if I go in to the layout margin bottom property, and I've got to find this. Bear with me, I'm talking so you won't think the video is messed up or paused. And I've got to find this, and I'm not cutting off the video because I want to see where this is. Click to the right. I'm on step 5, page 91, toward the bottom of the paragraph. With the image selected, which I've done, click to the right of the layout margin bottom property in the properties pane. Layout margin bottom. And there's my margins right there. I think I clicked that little plus. There it is. I clicked the little plus on margins. And where it says bottom, I'm going to type in 0 dp, hit enter. And that puts it at the bottom of the screen. In other words, think of it as like the header footer thing. You're saying that there's no bottom footer there. You're making sure that the image goes at the very bottom of the display. Alright, now it's just a matter of declaring some variables and getting the information that the user types in. And in order to do this particular program, what's going to happen, the user will type in the number of tickets, choose the concert in that item 1 drop down list, click the button that does define the ticket cost, and then does calculating. Now the calculating is easy, of course. You multiply the number of tickets times the cost of each ticket. But what we have to do is a little trick when we're dealing with Java programming, or any computer language for that matter. Everything by definition that you type in, no matter what it looks like, even though if I type in 2 tickets, it's a number. The computer thinks of it as a string that is not calculatable, if that's the word. It can't be calculated. So what we have to do is get the text out of there, and there's actually a function called getText. We convert it to a number, and then we multiply them. Then we take that text and set it back into the program and print it out. So to do that, we're going to type a few sentences, and hopefully after a couple of small exercises, this part of the code will make sense to you. So I'm going to main.java, not activity main, but to main, the code we've been using all along. And right after that statement, well, actually, right after the statements, we've got several statements we're going to put in there. We're going to do these a little higher up in the program. So on page 94, if you look at the comment, and let me find that comment on the screen for you. We're going to go into public class name, and you may possibly not see this on your screen, but what we're going to do is go in, and if by chance you don't see the comment that says call when the first activity is created, what you're going to do is go right after the part that says public class main extends activity. I'm surprised we don't have the import. Wait, yeah, we've got the import statement in there. We've got package.net. Page 95 is probably your best bet to look at the visual. Package.net, the first statement. Import Android. We've then got public class main extends activity, and then an opening brace. Right after that, you can hit the enter key just to give you some space there, and you're going to type in the 4 lines that are on step 1 of page 94. Double simply means it's a decimal value that we're going to call cost per ticket. Now again, it's case sensitive. Equals 59.99, semicolon. Semicolon just ends a Java statement. And what cost per ticket is a variable that's going to have a decimal value. That's what double means. Int, standing for integer or number without a decimal, we're going to call that number of tickets. There's a convention in Java with what we call camel case coding, camel like the animal. It starts out with a lowercase letter, and then so that we don't have to worry about spaces, which Java doesn't like, we do the next words with capital letters. So number is lowercase, of is capital, tickets is capital. In the previous variable, cost is lowercase, per is capitalized, ticket is capitalized. So we'll take the number of tickets. The reason we don't assign a value to number of tickets is when we go to activity main, they will type in the number of tickets. So that number depends on what the person types in. So if number of tickets happens to be 2, we'll multiply 2 times cost per ticket, or 2 times $59.99. We'll have another line where we've declared another variable. And think of variables in programming as not just x and y like you have in Algebra 1 and 2. Double is going to be another decimal value, and we're going to call it total cost. Again, with that camel casing, lowercase total, capital cost. The word string, and string is a class, which is always a capital letter. Group choice. Remember, the group choice is the concert that they're going to choose. So those are the 4 variables that we've declared in the program. What's going to happen now, and I'm skipping some stuff in the book as far as reading just to get to the code. We're going to go ahead and type in after this. We've got our 4 variables done. And what we'll do, once the ticket value is obtained, once they type in the number of tickets they're going to get, we're going to take that value and store it inside a number of tickets. What we have to do in Java is we have to tell the computer all these steps. We have to tell it to get the text out of that text field and convert it to an integer. We call that parsing. It's a special class that converts strings, the stuff we type in, to numbers. We've got one that converts to integers called parse int. We've got one that converts to decimals called parse double. There's one called float, which is very similar to decimal. And we got one where we have to do very large values that we call long. So what we'll do inside here, now we have to wait until they click the button before they calculate it. So we're not going to put this statement that we're about to type with this group, because this is just where we declared the variables and assigned the cost per ticket, which is a standard value. We're going to go inside so that after we click the button, it will give us information. So what we're going to do right here is go inside the on-click listener button. You see something right here called on-click view, view V rather. Go inside these braces below that little to-do number. Click inside there. Because what we want to do is after the button is clicked, and that's why we're putting it in this particular place, we want it to do the calculations. So on page 96, step 1, we're going to type in number of tickets, capital of, capital tickets, don't let the X scare you, equals, we're typing in the word integer with capital letters, dot, P-A-R-S-E, parse, be sure you spell it correctly, capital INT, parenthesis, tickets, dot, and it tries to help you. If you want it to help you, you can. I'm going to type it just to be safe. Dot, get, capital T-E-X-T, an open and a closed parenthesis, dot, T-O, string, another set of parentheses. You have to watch these parentheses very carefully. A semicolon at the end. And again, let me refresh this with you. You've got integer dot parse int open parenthesis tickets dot get text open close parenthesis dot to string open close parenthesis, and then that closing parenthesis matches the one next to parse int that we had earlier. So again, a total of 6 parentheses. Pardon me. What this is basically saying is we're going to take the value inside that text field called tickets. We'll take the number out of here that says number of tickets. We'll get that text, convert it to a string, and then this integer part will convert it to a number. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? And that value, that number, will be assigned to a variable called number of tickets. We then have to do some calculations with it. And we've got some calculations listed on page 97. This will be done in small exercises with you. The plus for addition, the minus for subtraction, the star for multiplication, the / for division, just like on your computer number keypad. We've got one called remainder. We don't have to use that for here. It's a percent symbol. It's a remainder. We'll talk about that again in small exercises. And then increment, decrement, where we increase or decrease something by 1. You know the order of operations already. Once we get that ticket value, we also want to format it so it goes in dollars and cents format. We have a special class that does that for us. So right after number of tickets, right after the line that we've just typed, I'm on page 98, step 1. We're going to hit enter and type in another sentence. Remember, we had a variable earlier that we called total cost with a capital letter. Total cost is going to be calculated by taking the cost per ticket, which is at $59.99. The reason we don't put $59.99 there is if on some occasion we wanted to change that number to $79.99, instead of having to change it 15 or 20 times all the way through the program, we only have to change it in one place. So we got cost per ticket times, that's the little star, number of tickets. And again, I'm typing from page 98, step 1. Be careful with your typing. Most of the time the mistakes here are usually spelling and capitalization issues. Semicolon after that. Now the value total cost is going to be like maybe 2 tickets times $59.99. That will be a value. We want that to be formatted like you do with Excel spreadsheets so that it converts it to dollars and cents format. So the next sentence after this will be decimal format, and we'll use a variable name called currency, equals new decimal format. I know probably you don't understand this. Don't worry about it for right now. Parenthesis, quotation mark, dollar, and we got 3 little pound symbols, look like little tic-tac-toes, or little sharp symbols if you're music people. Type this in very carefully. Read what's right there on page 98, instruction 1, end this with a semicolon. Basically what you're saying here is we're typing in a sentence that says display the number in the form of a dollar symbol. That's what the little dollar symbol means inside the quotes. Now don't get parentheses and quotes mixed up. The little tic-tac-toe symbols with a comma says if I have a number that's over 1,000, it's going to display it with a comma and with 2 decimal places after it, so it looks like dollars and cents. Again, because this is a special class called decimal format, I've got to import that into my program. So I'm clicking that little business. Alright, now we've got that value, but we haven't displayed it. We've got the value stored, we've got it formatted to dollars and cents, but we've got to display that in this little mystery box that we made disappear. Remember text view we had a minute ago under the find ticket cost button? We've got to display that in that place. So we got the text out of here earlier to convert. Now we're going to set it so that it displays on our Android window, and that's where this set text on page 99 comes in. So what we'll do, still staying in main, a lot of typing we're doing on page 99 at the very bottom of the page in step 1. We're going to insert a new line. One of them is going to go ahead and enter right there, and we'll do group choice equals group dot get, and if you can find get selected item right there, use that get selected item dot to string, and you can actually double click and choose it right there if you want to. What this does is it gets the choice that we had, whether we choose Dragonfly or Red Road or 9 volt, whatever it was, and it assigns that to this variable called group choice. Next line, here's what's going to happen. Result equals, result dot set text. This is where we're going to display it on the screen. Parenthesis, quotation marks, total cost for, leave a space after the word for, and put the quote's probably already there right here. I notice it's there in mine. And we'll put a plus symbol right here. Group choice, I'll explain this in just a minute. Group choice plus, And after the quotes, I would type a space so the words don't run together. The word is, another space, and quote. So the word is has spaces on both sides so the words don't run together. Put the plus, put currency dot format, parenthesis, total cost. This is a very busy statement right here. And you'll have two parentheses there, one for total cost and one for the whole sentence, and it with a semicolon. Now what happens right here, the computer prints out the words total cost for, and what the plus does, it connects this stuff together. It does no mathematics. It's called concatenation, where you just hook pieces together like jigsaw puzzles. Group choice is the concert choice that we made. The word is right here. Currency is referring to that format that we did a minute ago, and the word total cost is where we calculated the value of the tickets. So it may say something like total cost for Dragonfly is $119.98, or it might say total cost for 9-volt equals, or is, total cost for 9-volt is $350.15, something like that. That's what's happening right there. We'll take this puppy right here now, and we should be able to just save everything. I usually just do save all. You could do save if you want to. Save all should take care of it. And hopefully the sentence is okay. If we got these little errors coming up, we'll fix those later on. So you've got this saved. Now we'll go ahead and actually try to run the program. Now if I get errors, don't worry about it. You saw that happening just a few minutes ago, and I'm not worried about the errors. Do the best you can. So let's run this. Run it as an Android application. And remember, it takes a little while for this to do it. If it has mistakes, do the best you can with it. And we'll try this right here. Again, this is just to get you started. I totally mean it, folks. Don't worry if this stuff doesn't work for you. Do the best you can. If worse comes to worse, send me a copy of your code. Just capture the screen. Capture these pictures. I'll give you absolutely the majority of credit for it. I don't want you to stress over this. It's not worth it, and I don't want you to stress over it or have a bad negative feeling about the course. If you've got errors right here, you can right click these little X's, and very often you can do quick fix and change stuff and just see what happens. If it doesn't work for you, we'll deal with it. Just try the quick fixes and see what happens. Just click on the X's and choose quick fix, and let's just see what happens with it. If it screws up, I'll deal with it. You know, nothing's perfect. I'm not worrying about it. Let's just run it and see what happens. And mine might screw up in this video. If it does, it's not the end of the world. But in a perfect world, when you run it, it should allow you to type the information. And I'm not the least bit embarrassed that mine did have some crazy stuff happen to it, and I don't want you to stress over it. And I'm glad this happened, actually, because it shows you that it can happen to the best of us. So don't worry if situations happen. What I'm going to do right now is close this program just to show you the running of it. Once again, in this video, I'm going to change my workspace to one that I happen to know works out. So I'm going to go in, and I think this is one that actually works. My Eclipse is going to reset, and if this one works for you, I'm actually going to show you the running of it. Do the best you can with it. Again, don't worry if the situations don't happen. This kind of job is very heavy duty anyway, and again, I'm not the least bit worried about it. I'm sure hoping that I can find something that works for you. So let me go in and change my workspace. This is probably the most screwed up video I've ever had, but again, this is a very complex package, and it's one that's changed since the book has been published. I wish you could meet the writer. Corinne is a phenomenal lady. You would absolutely adore her. She's one of the most dynamic instructors I've ever seen. She would match the outstanding people on our campus, like the Dale Guffeys and the Al Dunkelmans of the world. Just excellent instructor, and just a great person to work with. I'm going to open up these files and hope and pray that I get this shown up so that you can see how it actually works, because I want you to see that it does indeed work out properly for you. and I want you to see this actually run. You remember that Android can be very slow. And I'm going to see if this will run for you. And it might gripe and complain even with this one, just to let you see it in process. Do the best you can, and I'm going to give you credit for it. So hopefully, I hope and pray that this is going to work out for you. Sometimes this particular program just becomes very difficult. I'm not sure. There are lots of things I need to talk with Corinne about this, and hopefully we can figure out what's going on, because it's going some crazy stuff. And I will tell you the first one to admit it. There's some issues on here that sometimes will work for me and sometimes it won't. And we just kind of play with this little quick fix and see what happens. Hopefully it'll be happy. Sometimes it happens. I mean, I'll get stuff where I have to add the ice cream software to it, this particular Android emulator. Like I say, things happen and we'll go through it. I'll look at your programs, and if I see a base, again, if you can't get the code sent to me to work, send me a picture of what you've attempted, and I'm perfectly happy with it. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, Mike's a horrible instructor, you may think that now. I'm not a horrible instructor, I promise you. But this is probably, arguably, the most convoluted piece of software I've probably worked with in my career. And I say that because I think it's the Eclipse software. I assure you the writer of the book is phenomenal. I wish you could meet her. She would really be frustrated for you, and she would work with it. And I just want you to know that. In any event, let's hope the Android application works in some reasonable manner. So, and again, I'm talking through this with you. One, to comfort you, and two, so you don't think in a big pause that I have had some kind of malfunction in the video. So again, if I sound very calming or nonchalant about it, it's not that. I just want to make sure you're satisfied with it, and that you at least understand a feel for what this is like. Maybe we appreciate the people who do write these programs. Here we go. We just take the lock and move it to the right, and the program will run. It may be a little bit slow. This is called an emulator, and it's just, again, just simulating the smartphone. It may be slow popping up here. The 1227 is because it's wee hours when I'm doing this. Here we go. There's the display right there. Click on number of tickets, and when you click that, it will give you the opportunity to type in the number of tickets. And let's type in 2 tickets. Remember, the tickets were $59.99 earlier. So I type a 2 right there. I hit the word done to let it know that I'm not typing like 21, but indeed just a 2. I can choose the concert from the list, Dragonfly, 9 volt or whatever. So I'll click 9 volt just to make it different. And when I click the button that says Find Button Cost, what it does, it takes the 2, multiplies it times $59.99 for the tickets, and it will do a display right below Find Button Cost, and you see it. Total cost for 9 volt is $119.98. It took the 2 and multiplied it times the $59.99, and it printed out, remember the word total cost in quotes. 9 volt was the concert choice, the word is, and again the spaces between on both sides of the word is allows the space so the sentence doesn't run together. Hopefully this gives you an idea how the program works, and again, do your best with it. Don't worry about it. I'm not grading you majorly down if you make a concerted effort, and I would say concerted with a concert program. Sorry about the unintended pun. But do your best and just screen capture if you need to. I'm not going to worry about it with you. Do your best. And I hope the video will help, even with all the convolution that happened on mine. Mine worked the first time, as you can see right here. But if it happens to you, I'm kind of glad that it happened to me too, to let you know that we're all human. And this is a tough package to get used to the first time. Totally okay. And I hope this video helped you out in any event.